Hello, welcome to our mother and daughter channel. We're going to do some balance training today. So there's a lot that goes on with balance, so we're going to try to address everything that can help your balance. So firstly, we'll just start with the feet, just walking the feet. So the feedback from the feet is very important in our balance. It's known as proprioception, so when we kind of sense where we are in space without actually looking. So just sense your feet without looking at them. Also, we're getting a bit more muscular action in our feet. Our feet can get a little bit flat the older we get. So let's restore some muscles in our feet. Excellent. Let's come up on our toes. So always have a chair by your side if you're new to balance training. Just helps you feel a bit more confident. Good, and let's just start to lift one leg up and the other. You can experiment with holding it for a little bit longer. Draw in the belly, that will really help your balance as well. Anytime you need to hold on, hold on. You can practice raising the arms up. See what that feels like. See if you can draw in the belly as well. You can practice finding something to look at, something to focus on. And just noticing if you have one side that might be a bit better. Good. Now we're going to place one foot in front of the other and have our hands out in a T shape. So just see how that feels. Of course, hold on to a chair. So when we're looking at one spot, that can be easier to balance. If you're finding it very easy, we can start to look from left to right and just notice how the visual cue isn't there. So we think about our feet. Good, and let's try the other side. So heel to toe. Arms out, see how that feels, if you've got any wobbles. So the wobbles are good because they're teaching the mind and body connection, so the brain starts to make new connections. If you want more of a challenge, we can look from side to side. I certainly find this more challenging. Good. We can also practice this heel to toe walk as well. Forwards and backwards. And of course, if you're getting very confident, you could always try the occasional look to the side. Try not to bump into your relative. Great. And now we'll work a bit on one of the muscles that really helps to support our stability, which is the side of the hip muscle, the glute medius. So finding a soft bend in one of the knees, just going to lift and lower the leg. So you can start with holding the chair. See if you can keep the toe pointed forward rather than out, because that will target the muscle that's involved in balance. So you may not need to hold on after practicing a while. And again, sense with that standing foot, is your foot nice and flat, or do you tend to kind of roll out to one side of the foot or inside? Sometimes that can make our balance not quite as good as it used to be. Let's try on the other leg. It's a soft bend in the knee, engaging that outer hip. And it's very common for this foot to want to turn out, because then we're activating the quad muscle, which likes to take over. But for balance, we also want this muscle to work. So side raises are really good. You could also do these on the floor. Good, and then we'll just do a few little taps. So we're going to tap to the back, tap to the side, and to 3 o'clock. So we're just tapping each way. You should start to feel the glute muscles working. You can always lift the leg. So we're just doing a semicircle. So while we're training our balance, we can train our muscles at the same time that support our balance, and trying it on the other leg. So again, the foot is facing forward, tapping up until 3 o'clock, and then tapping back. And see if you can really feel the glute muscle activating. And if that's easy, you can try without touching down. So we're just making some gentle semicircles. Good. And finally, we'll practice some moves on a chair to help strengthen the legs, because often when we lose a bit of muscle mass in the legs, this can affect our leg strength. So when we squat, we want to think of the hips coming back and the tummy drawing in, chest is lifted. So it can be hard to squat if you're not used to it. So what we can use is a chair. So we can stand up, have our feet a bit wider than hip width apart. Hands can be on our chest, or we can have them ready to sit down. So we can just start to sit down into a chair. So now we're in a chair. So if we want to get up, we press down on our feet, draw in the belly. So we can use our arms to start with to help bring us up. See how that feels. Again, then we hinge at the hips. We can use one arm to help us get up. If that becomes easy, we can have our arms crossed and just practice this. So we're really gaining some leg strength. Sit to chair, really good exercises. Of course, when you become very strong, you could hover for a second and then come back down. Start to feel yourself gaining leg strength. Excellent. And one more coming up. Because what often happens when people squat is they squat like this, so the knees come forward. What we want to encourage is coming back, so we're working our leg strength. Anyway, I hope that was useful and you enjoyed your balance training, and look forward to seeing you again.